Brittany, Gabby, Juliet, thanks so much for joining today so we can continue to advance this conversation around mobility, around the field of transportation that we all work in, and really how the conversation has shifted a little bit in the last several months. You know, the way that people move, the way that goods move has changed a lot. And we've noticed that a lot of our clients, usually agencies who are builders and operators of various transportation systems, their focus has shifted a lot. It's become kind of laser focused on conversations around safety, around conversations of equity and mobility justice. And we're also seeing a lot of opportunity come from less of a demand on our transportation system at this current time. So maybe we can try to unpack some of that information. And Brittany, we can start with you. What have you seen in terms of the demand on our system and kind of the shift in how people travel?
Yeah, Kevin. Well, what we've seen here in Central Texas is, right at the beginning of the pandemic, when we saw a lot of stay-at-home orders, our traffic really just stopped. Congestion was seemed like a thing of the past. But really, over the past few months, we've steadily seen traffic returning to our roadways. And we're anticipating that this is only going to continue to happen as the public health concerns remain while COVID-19 is still, present in our communities. And we believe that people will continue to want to drive in their own cars and maybe use transit less during this time. But we've also seen our local transportation leaders really looking to the future. What are good mobility solutions for all going to look like? We know congestion is not going to be going away in the long term, even though we've seen it pull back a little bit here during the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a key point there, which was transportation systems for all, right? At this current point in time, we're having a lot of really honest discussions around mobility and equity, what a transportation, like an efficient transportation system looks like, but also really trying to take a look at the systemic problems that have existed in this country for a very long time. Not giving opportunity and access to everyone equally across the board, and what we can do in our field to make sure that we're developing programs that really do serve the communities that absolutely need these resources. Gabby, I know that you've worked in the mobility and equity justice framework for a long time. So what have you experienced in terms of the way that the conversation is shifting and how we're able to address some of those conversations and problems that we're realizing are prevalent within our society?
Absolutely. I think you bring up a really good point around equity. And as we know, equity is not a trend. The inequities that have existed historically are not new. We are really just digging into some of the uncomfortable conversations to start to address the inequities in the transportation space. And I think a silver lining of the health pandemic is that we have the opportunity to think about what we want normal to look like going forward and be reflective about what normal was in the past, and think about how we are serving specifically disadvantaged communities, not just in terms of horizontal mobility of getting people from point A to point B, but also thinking about vertical mobility. How does transportation contribute to someone's access to job opportunities, to adequate housing and healthcare and childcare and fresh food? And so I think I'm seeing this addressed in a few ways. This is all a lot to unpack, right? It's very rich, but I'm seeing steps in the right direction. People recognizing the special commute needs of essential workers. I'm seeing our clients fast forward projects that have been in the pipeline and using that to build public trust and reimagine our transportation options and our spaces. Absolutely. So that's been really rich to see.
Yeah, fantastic. I absolutely agree. And you, at the very end there, you touched on something else as well, which is a fast forwarding of a handful of different projects. Juliet, I know that there's a really aggressive schedule on several projects in the Southeast region, and you've had direct, interaction with accelerations of schedules. Can you maybe go into what you've experienced?
Absolutely. Well, I'm here to bring you the good news, and that is that communications professionals are chameleons. We adapt to the environment, even during these challenging times, to ensure that our approach and our outreach plans are successful. The transportation projects are continuing to move along, and our team of industry professionals are there to ensure that the communications the progress of these projects are being delivered and they're communicated to both internal and external customers. We're happy to announce that because there have been less vehicles on the road, we've been able to progress with our construction activities, and projects are being fast-tracked, essentially shortening the length of time to complete these construction projects. So this has all been, news, very positive, and we're looking forward to, stimulating the economy, and we're looking towards an even better future.
Yeah, absolutely. So amidst all the heavy things that we're having to deal with, there's good news that government is working to advance projects that are ultimately going to benefit communities and help build that trust with the communities that we absolutely currently serve. Well, thanks so much for joining today to talk about this conversation. I know it's a lot to unpack, and we're going to talk about it for a long time coming, but really appreciate your time and looking forward to connecting next time.